Howdy, howdy, folks. Once again, this is Donnie, and I'm coming at you with yet another in our series of process management tutorials. Now, in the previous video, I did promise that in the next video, meaning this video, I would cover the top utility. But I had to have a change of plans, though, because I realized that I still need to explain this concept of signals and how we can work with them in order to be able to explain everything that you can do with the top utility. So here we go. We have the process, or we have rather the concept of signals. Now, signals, basically you can think of it as just a way for a user to send some sort of a message to a running process in order to do something with that process. And there are, I think, something like 250 different signals that we can send to a process, but most of them are only of interest to hardcore programmers. Most of us will never use those signals. So the only ones that we're really going to encounter all that much as just a normal Linux systems administrator are going to be these 6 here that we see on this PDF file. And so we see we have signals 1, 2, 9, 15, 20, and 18. So all the signals have numbers, but they also have names. So signal number 1 is hup, 2 is int, and so on. You can read the rest of them. Now, we do have a utility called kill. Yes, I know that sounds morbid, but that's what it is, right? We have the kill utility. We can use that kill utility to send signals to processes. But of all of the processes you see here, of all these 6 different processes here, there are only 2 of them where you would normally use the kill utility with. All of the rest of these you're going to send in some other fashion. So, for example, we do have signal number 1 up here, which is the hup, which stands for hang up. And it will cause a daemon to reread a configuration file. So, we're normally not going to use the kill utility with that because we have our other daemon management utilities, or service management utilities, like systemctl. We can do systemctl reload or systemctl restart on a systemd machine. Or if it's a non-systemd machine, we can do like service reload or service restart. So we're normally not ever going to use the kill utility with this. And the same thing here with a number 2, which is int, interrupt or start running. This is what you do with Control-C. So let's say we do something like this. Okay, so we do Control-C. We just sent a number 2 signal to shut this down. Now, of course, this does not work within all programs. For example, if you're in your browser, or if you're in your word processor, or your graphical type text editor, Control-C is going to mean copy. We're going to copy something, right? So if you don't have anything highlighted to copy, then the Control-C will have no effect. But for a command that we've done just from the command line like this, yeah, Control-C is going to send a signal number 2. All right. Skipping down here to number 20, that is stop executing and continue. And the name of that, the actual name, is TSTP. It actually stands for something, I forget what it is, but it doesn't matter. We don't care, right? Just know that it's signal number 20. And again, we're normally not going to use the kill utility in order to send that signal. Instead, what we're going to do, let's say we have our XIs here. And XI is open down here this time. Let's move it up here. Ouch. And I'm purposely hiding part of that here behind my terminal window, and there's a reason for that. Okay, so the signal number 20, it means to stop the process. Actually, it's not really stopping it, it's actually just pausing it. But for some reason, the developers, the people who wrote the documentation, use the terminology stop instead. So I don't know why, but it's actually pausing it. So we do a Control Z, like so, and we see now that it is stopped. And if we do a jobs command like that, yeah, well, it stopped. And if I were to move this out from under here, you can tell that it stopped because the one eye did not redraw correctly when I moved it out from behind the terminal window, and the other eye, the eyeball, does not follow my cursor. But that's signal number 20. Now, signal number 18 is to continue. Continue execution. This will start a stopped process. And again, we're not going to use the kill signal for that. Now, let me rephrase this a little bit. You actually could use the kill signal for this, or I mean the kill command rather for this, but you're not going to. I mean, you could go over to another window and look up the process ID number and send these different signals with the kill utility, but you're not going to do that. Okay, so instead, over here, neither eye redraws now. Anyway, over here, what we're going to do instead, we're going to use either the FG utility to bring this back to the foreground or the BG utility to put this into the background. Now, if I do BG, yeah, it sends that number 18 signal to restart it, except it's now running in the background, which means I have use of my command line again. Ooh, look there. I could sit and watch this all day, I tell you. But anyway, coming back over here, I can do the FG command and can bring it back to the foreground, which means it's still running, except now I no longer have use of my command line. Okay, so anyway, let's close that down. We don't need that anymore. And of course, I could have done the Control C to shut that down, but that's okay. So this then leaves us with the number 15 signal and the number 9 signal. So the number 15 signal is terminate nicely if possible. Now, this is the signal you're going to send a process if for some reason it's hung up and it's not responding properly. And, sometimes that stuff does happen. And so before you do anything, of course, you're going to try to close the process down normally. And if it's a command line process, you're going to try to shut it down with a number 2 by doing a Control C. And if Control C does not work, then we're going to try the number 15 terminate signal. And if that does not work, then we're going to do the heavy artillery here. We're going to do the emergency stop deal here, the number 9, which is kill, right? Now, the number 15, it means terminate nicely if at all possible. And that just means that if the process has any files open or any network sockets open or anything like that, it will give that process time to clean up after itself and close all those files and sockets and what have you down before terminating the actual process. But if that doesn't work, then we do number 9, which is going to stop it immediately regardless of anything else, like an emergency kill switch. Yes, a big red button you just push and it just shuts everything down. And the number 9 is something that you don't want to do unless you absolutely have to, because it will not give the process time to clean up after itself. So let's see how that works over here. So let's do XIs again. And this time I am going to start XIs in the background. And so there are two ways here to have a process run in the background so that you can still have use of your command line. The one I just showed you is to do Control-Z to pause it, and then do the BG command to put it in the background. But you can also start a process in the background from the get-go just by putting that ampersand at the end of the command. So anyway, there is my XIs right there. Now, I can do, well, if it were in the foreground, I could do Control-C to try to stop it. But let's say, for example, I were to click here on the little X here at the top of the box, and it's just not closing down. It's just locked up. It's not doing anything. Okay? So what we can do here now is we'll send we'll start by sending a number 15 signal to it to try to kill it. And in order to do that, we have to get the process ID number. So we do PS-L-uppercase-C XIs, like so. And we see their process ID number 4312. So we can now do kill 4312. That will send that number 15 signal. Okay, so remember, the 15 signal, that's the one right there. Terminate nicely if at all possible. And notice I did not specify a signal number or a signal name, because if you just do kill by itself without a signal number or a signal name, the 15 signal is the default. Okay, so now let's try this again. Oh, by the way, you see there too, we have terminated XI. Since that was in the background when I shut it down, we get this coming up. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead here and try XIs again. Again, in the background. So we'll come over here now, and we'll do this again in order to get the process ID number, because it's going to be different this time since I shut it down and started it back up. And again, we're going to say here that this is locked up. So we've tried Control-C, we've tried the number 15 signal, and neither one of those works. We've tried clicking on the little box there, or the X there, on the window to try to shut it down. Nothing works, okay? So far nothing works. So this time we need to send this the number 9 signal, which is like the ultimate, right? So in this case, we're going to do not kill, and we have to precede our signal number by a dash. Oops, a dash. There you go. And then the process ID number, which is 4392. Okay, now, we also know that the name of the signal is kill, so we could just do the name like that. And curiously, I don't know why it is, but this is one of those rare instances in Linux where we have something that is not case sensitive. So you can spell out the name of the signal in all lowercase letters, all uppercase letters, or some letters uppercase, some letters lowercase. It doesn't matter. This is a rare time where we have something not case sensitive. I have no idea why, but that's the way it is. But most people don't bother spelling all that out. Most people just do the number of the signal. I mean, it's better. It's easier, right? Less typing. So anyway, I can hit the enter key here, and there we go. So it shut it down. Now, something else too here to consider is, you see here the UID number, the user ID number is 1000, which is me. So this is my own process. So I can kill my own processes without having to use sudo privileges. But if I need to kill someone else's processes, or if I need to kill a process that belongs to the root user, then I have to use sudo. So in other words, I would just go ahead and do this instead. Okay? But as I said, that's only if the process does not belong to me. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it here for our signals. And in the next tutorial, we're going to show how to put this to use with the top utility. So if you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be notified of any new videos that come up. And we'll see you next time.